My first question is, tell me about your piano playing. Where did you learn how to play piano?
Well, my grandmother is a piano player, and we had a piano in our house, and so she said, make something out of it, just sitting in the house, the instrument's a piece of furniture, you might as well learn how to play it. And so none of us in the house kind of learned how to play it until we became in our teens, and so we kind of got interested in it. So I tried to take lessons at my college. I passed it with an A, but I lost a lot of stuff that I learned. So, I try to keep on playing, every once in a while. I go down to a guitar center and try to open up my fingers and try to play.
Yeah. I mean, because you were playing in there, and I was like, I never knew you knew how to play piano. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I know just play a little bit, not a lot, I'm learning how to read a little bit more.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Well, so let's go back to your childhood. Tell me about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in San Diego, California, Linda Vista.
Who raised you?
San Diego. My grandma raised me.
Okay. And who was there in the household?
Well, my mother started. She raised me until I was 4 years old, and then she took a tragedy. She died when I was 4 years old. And after that, I moved to Texas. Moved there with my dad. My dad was still playing baseball, and after that, he left us there with his parents, and so we was on the farm, and me and my brother was raised as farm boys. And from there, we came up to Seattle because my grandma, my mother's mother up here, she wanted us to come to Seattle. Her and my grandfather, Melvin Darden, a lot of people may know him as Melvin King, they raised us up for 11 years.
How old were you? You and your brother?
Yeah, me and my brother, and we had some adopted siblings, and my aunt and my uncle, they were twins. They were all in the same household, so it was a total of 6 kids.
6 kids. Yeah. What'd you guys do for fun? 6 kids.
I was the baby of all these kids, but they did everything, and I did what I wanted to do on my own. I did everything that I wasn't supposed to do, and they did everything that was right. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was 4 years behind all of them, and basically I went wherever I wanted to go, and wherever they wouldn't allow me to follow them, I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Now, tell me about this farm. I'm curious. Was it like a working farm?
Yeah, it was a working farm. We had our own lake, where we had catfish. We had like 8 pigs, about 10 horses, a few cows. Where me and my brother, we were giving them both a cow apiece, and chickens, all that, So we were forced to bale hay, feed the pigs, take care of the cows, do whatever we need to do on the farm, to make money for our store, because we had a corner store right next to the farm.
And then you sell the.
Yeah, we sold the stuff that we pretty much cropped.
Gotcha. And this was in what part of Texas?
This is Nacogdoches, Texas. Yeah, okay. Douglas, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half out of Dallas.
Gotcha. And so you guys did that until you were how old?
Did that till I was about 5, 6 years old.
And then moved to Seattle?
And then moved to Seattle, yeah.
Gotcha. And the whole crew came up, or just?
Well, no, just me and my brother came up here.
I see.
Because my dad's mother and my mother's mother, they didn't get along with each other. It was a court battle, so my grandma up here won custody of us, and we came here. And my dad ended up landing here when he finished playing baseball, because he stopped playing with Seattle Mariners Farm League up in Walla Walla.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so when you guys came here, what happens?
We came here. We just became regular city kids,
Got plugged in?
Yeah, I went wild because I got to be around a lot of kids and be around friends. In Texas, we didn't have any kids we played around except for the kids at church.
Yeah.
So got a chance to actually be a regular kid.
Yeah. What part of town did you guys come to?
We first moved to Columbia City. Columbia City, it was jumping off in 1983. the scats, a lot of tumbling, backflips, graffiti and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Hip hop. That's what we started out on.
Yeah. So that's like the early days.
Yeah, it was kind of like the ghetto part of Seattle in the early '80s. It was a more popping area. Like the Central District had the Black Panthers, but Columbia City was new form of gangsters and stuff. A new form of, I guess, happening in life.
Yeah, well, tell me more. I mean, is that something that affected your life?
Yeah, it affected me because it was a fast-paced living, and I wasn't used to the fast pace. I was more of a slow pace because on the country, it was just quiet. We dealt with the family and went back in the house, and that was it. And most of the time, the only time we got to interact with anybody was go to school or go to church. And so I got to be outside, and neighborhood kids, people riding bikes, people skates.
City life.
Yeah, get to walk around a couple blocks, go to the store, and I got caught stealing from Big Bear my first time going to the store, the big grocery store by ourselves. My auntie kind of like pushed me into it, but yeah, I didn't know we could go in the stores and just grab things and walk around with it, and so I started putting a whole bunch of candy down my sweats, and I got caught stealing my first time going to the store here.
Yeah, that's so funny. Like that brings back a memory for me when I stole gum. And then it slipped out of my pants, and like down my leg, and on the floor.
That's exactly what happened.
And the clerk like looked at me, and I was like,
Yeah. I actually made it outside the store, and I was standing in front of the store, just like waiting for my aunt to come out the store, and then she said, "When you want to come back inside of here?" And then, she grabbed me. She had already knew that I stole a whole bunch of stuff, and but they kind of like gave me a slap on the wrist, called my grandma, sent me home.
Yeah. Well, what's going on in high school?
High school, I was an athlete. I was the star tomorrow. When I got out of middle school, I was one of the top scorers in basketball and one of the top leading football players in the Seattle Seahawks. They drafted me to play for them my freshman year in high school. They thought I was a senior because I went to their training camp. And so when I went to their training camp, I dominated so much they couldn't believe that I was a freshman in high school. Yep.
Nice. And so throughout high school, were you playing football? Was that your main?
I played basketball and football, but the crime life got me in trouble. I caught a charge fight that got me assault in the first degree and robbery too, which derailed my chance to go play ball. So I tried to pick it back up, and my grandma also put me out of the house. She was like, you're doing crime life, you're getting in trouble with the law. She let the law take care of me. She said, I'm gonna let the jail take care of you since you want to go do crime. And so from that, I kind of like just wandered around and tried to pick myself up and try to find my own place to live, at 15 years old.
So you're 15 years old, and is this like, are you saying you're like out on the streets?
Yeah, I was out on the streets, and basically, I got two half sisters, and I wouldn't stay with their mom, but she wasn't willing to take us in, but she let me come there like at nighttime if I wanted to come there,
Yeah.
And so it was a place to rest my head, but I was literally like on my own throughout the day.
At 15 years old.
At 15 years old.
So you're not going to school?
I was going to reentry school at Marshall, and but I would only show up to school maybe once or twice a week.
And if you look back and think back, like, what is going on with 15-year-old Damon?
I thought I was grown, and I thought I knew what I was doing, and I had got so much credit for being a star athlete that I started forgetting like the responsibilities of being responsible about my real life. I was living a superficial life, and I kind of trying to live the dream my dad was living. So I kind of got distracted and misled, and before I knew it, I got into gangs and, you know, selling drugs, and that's all I wanted to do is want to sell drugs. But it dawned on me about 25, I gave it up.
So like 15 to 25, you're in that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And why at 25? What happened?
I got married. I got married and had twins, you know, and it was I won't say it's my third kid, but because I had 2 boys before that, and I had a set of twins when I got married. But when I had those 2 kids, I had planned for a family, and so I try to live a structured life and try to pull all my shit together. And before I knew it, I asked God to change my heart because I was real religious, and He changed my heart more than I expected because He took me from being hard to being real soft, you know. And I just cried a lot, you know. Feel like I turned into a sissy almost, but I was learning how to be a real man at that point.
Yeah, there's a kind of a big debate about a real man, masculinity.
Yeah.
Men don't cry. Society drills that into men.
Yeah.
And they say that's. I have different take. You know, I think it takes a lot of strength and vulnerability to let your emotions come out. Cry.
Yeah. Well, I had a wife that was raised by a tough mother, and she let me do pretty much what I wanted to do in my household, but at the same time there was consequences to like things that I did, and I wanted to be with my family. You know, I really wanted to like not mess up my kids' life like my parents had let me and my brother go. So I wanted to just make it right to where my kids would be raised in a good home, and I failed, but when I failed, I didn't just give up. I kind of like kept pushing forward, you know, trying to make something happen. But the change that was in me, it took away my ambition to be a fighter anymore. Because I used to be a tough fighter and fight all the time, but I stopped fighting, you know, stopped putting my hands on people.
And so, how long did that relationship last?
The marriage lasted for 15 years, but we were only together for like 7 years. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That we were legally separated. But
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the final divorce didn't come to 15 years.
Yeah, that takes time.
Yes.
It's different for everybody. And you know, you're 25, 35, 15 years, you're around 40?
Yeah, and she is 7 years older than I am.
And where are you at? Are you living at that house?
I was living on my own. I became a subcontractor for FlexCar. I was making my own money, and so I was kind of like not conceited, but I was so confident in myself that, you know, whatever they needed, I would try to provide it financially, you know, but I would keep them at arm's length, and it's kind of wrong for me doing that, but I was trying not to be hurt because
you're talking about your kids.
Yeah, I didn't want my wife back and forth in and out of my life, you know. It's either she was gonna be with me, you know, or not. So I kind of like kept it like that, and I stayed to myself, and I went to church. I was in church pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, I hear this kind of draw back to religion, spirituality, something greater than ourselves. You have that draw. Yeah,
well, I dedicated myself to the church to be the youth advisor and the drummer for the youth choir, for the gospel choir, and for the mass choir, and I was also part of the praise team. So that's what I did, you know, pretty much.
Well, and then you're working. You have your place. What happens?
I was in college, and so I completed college. I became a dean student, chancellor's list student, one of 10,000 students to be nominated and awarded out of all the colleges in the United States, and so I won the top award and straight A student all the way through college up until my last year.
And you're studying? What are you studying in college?
Early childhood education to become a teacher.
Right on.
Yeah.
Up until your last year.
Up until my last year, you know, that's when the divorce happened.
Okay.
And things got tough, you know, things got, you know, started bothering me, and I started falling back into wanting to hustle, because money was getting tight. Student loans started kicking in. I wasn't taking student loans at first, but I made a mistake by taking a student loan, and I started hurting from it because I got used to having that money from the student loans that I spent it fast, and I wanted that money. I wanted some more money, but I couldn't have it because my subcontracting job wasn't making the money that I wanted to make. It was just only giving me just a little bit to feed myself, and I wanted the stuff that I was having when I was selling dope. I wanted to have that kind of money, but it wasn't bringing it into me, so I kind of started fighting myself and wanting to hustle, but I was coaching basketball at the same time, and I put my head in the coaching and just let myself kind of like fall back into sports, the love of sports, and pretty much went for like a broke college student attitude.
Well, how long did that run last?
About 4 or 5 years. And yeah, 4 or 5 years, and then as I seen the finance reverse, I started giving up my jewelry and selling my jewelry, and paying for my rent, to make up for things, and I kind of like got peeled like a banana, to grow me. And as I grew, I learned not to be so superficial with all those things anymore, and I learned to love myself. I believe, because I didn't like myself before that.
Yeah, that takes. Well, I can only speak for me. It took me a long time.
Yeah, it took me a while, but I didn't start liking myself until I was broke.
Well, it's humbling, right?
Yeah, it is humbling.
It's humbling, and sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Life to humble you, and. Oof.
Yeah, buying my friends to be around me, to go out and kick it, and I just couldn't do that no more. I didn't want to put up with nobody's mess. I just wanted to be by myself and do what I needed to do to survive.
Yeah. Well, where are you at now? Let's talk about your current situation.
My current situation is I've been homeless for the last 17 years from being punished by my dad because I had that fast track attitude, and I was still rough and tumble, and he thought I was lying about a lot of things that I was going through, and he wanted to see it for himself. And so I was living a domestic partner relationship, and he didn't like that. And so basically he broke it.
You mean because for religious reasons?
Well, not for religion, just because he didn't want me to live in a domestic partner lifestyle, period. And so he broke it, and he didn't want me to be around it, and he didn't want to be around me like that either. So he was trying to break me of that spirit, and he broke that relationship, put me out on the streets, and made sure nobody would help me and give me anything.
Your dad?
Yeah.
I'm so curious. How did he do that? Like, what do you
mean? He pulled the Machiavelli move on me.
What's that?
Faked his death. Yeah, he made me feel like he was dead and he wasn't there for me, and that all my family was dead and they wouldn't be around for me, but they're still alive, and it took me a while to realize they were still alive, but I thought everybody had died.
Like, are you saying he just cut off contact?
He cut off contact, everything. He made everybody cut off contact with me, period.
Just disown Damon.
Just disown me, period.
Act like he doesn't exist.
Yep, act like I don't exist, and the friends that I did have, they kind of shunned me away. They kind of just pushed me away for no reason. Because
you're in a relationship with somebody, living together?
Yep. And he didn't want me, and he made that end too, so, yeah.
Wow. And so, 17 years, you're being unhoused?
Yeah, yep. He made even the police force, the police agree to it, so the police has been just allow me to just roam the streets, you know what I mean, and allow everybody to do what they've been doing to me, not give me housing to make me get over it. And so 17 years now, I was waiting for it to end, this is a joke, maybe it'll go back to something, somebody will pick back up, maybe some friends will kick back in, but it hasn't. So I'm on my own, and being on my own, I'm used to being on my own now. Like I said, I learned to like myself before that, and so I'm just waiting for the housing to kick in so I can get back into doing things that I need to do and be organized. Once I'm organized, I could do a lot of things, but being out here, I get a lot of things stolen and taken from me. So like my wallets and my paperwork and things that I need to do to stay on top of things. And so if I can keep all my stuff organized, I can do a lot of things, but I can't do nothing without having my ID and having my cell phone and, keeping things together, so.
That's right. Well, I mean, like, tonight, where are you staying?
I got a tent.
Gotcha.
And I've been staying in my tent for the last 2 weeks. It's not the best, but it's better than sleeping on the steps without a tent in this weather, or sleeping at the bus stop and riding the bus back and forth and carrying all my stuff with me. So I at least have a habitat.
But there's always that, like you said, that piece of you can't keep stuff there because somebody could just walk in and.
Well, it's people can. I mean, I'm not so superficial no more to where if I want something that I really want it, I keep it with me, or
right.
I really won't care if somebody take it because
you just have to let that go.
Yeah, if they take it, I can get it again. It's always possible to replace things. It's not that precious to me.
Yeah. You talk to your kids?
No, my kids are grown now. They just started. My daughter just started at Pullman at Wazoo, and my son he's been working. He work a regular job now, a 9 to 5, and so they're kind of being grown up, and they're kind of resistant to me, but they know who I am. But they was raised by another guy
Gotcha.
For the last 15 years, and I appreciate the guy, you know what I mean, because he took money out of his own pocket, out of his own paycheck, and put food in my kid's mouth. So
you said 4 twins?
Yeah, one of the twins was given up for adoption.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, my daughter is still my daughter Zoe is still with her mother. Well, she's on her own now, but she's raised by my wife, and my son is raised by my wife.
Gotcha.
My daughter Chloe, she was given up at birth.
Gotcha.
For adoption.
I mean, Damon, there is a chance they will see this.
Yeah, it's a chance that they're gonna see it. I will hope that they see it, and so they have a good understanding to what I went through, because all they know right now is that I was in and out of their lives.
Right. Is there anything you would say to them?
I love them. I love my children, and sorry I couldn't be there for you the way I wanted to be there, but things just didn't happen the way we all planned. So, but at least you were well taken care of. That's one thing I did, make sure that they didn't pick up on my anger and not give up on their own lives.
One last question before we wrap up. Damon, is there anything you want the people of Seattle to know?
What I want people in Seattle to know is know who I am. Don't let the rumors get to you. You should always ask the horse and see what my response is, and don't let other people tell you something, a factual thing about me, unless you heard it from me, because a lot of people say things about me that are not true. So do good for yourself, and I'm always pulling for anybody that's from the city. I support them, and I'm proud of anybody that's come from this city. I'm not a hater. If I say I'm proud of you and I want you to do good, I'm supporting them 100%. People, not a lot of people can say that and will do that, but I am truly supportive of any artist work that anybody has done from Seattle. The athletes that are from Seattle that I know that's made it professionally, I'm proud of you. The ones that played under me, that went further than me to the pros, I'm definitely proud of them. I won't say all their names, but it's a good feeling to know that I come from a place that has a lot of people that work hard to show what Seattle's all about.
Tell me about the Commons. How long have you been coming here?
The Commons, I've been coming here for about 15 years. When I first came, I just wandered around and kind of clucked around here, try to get the feel of it and get to know people. But
well, why do you come here?
I come here for the resources and sometimes to get out of the weather because it's a place where I can get some good coffee and good breakfast and kind of catch up with myself. And when I'm injured, I can see the nurse at the clinic and get healed instead of having to go to the emergency room and have that large bill. Besides that, the camaraderie of some of the people that come here is good to talk to them. Good to see people, familiar faces, and now that some people know me, I kind of feel like I have a love for them, and people know where to find me at.
That's right. Damon, thanks for your time, man.
Thank
it's
you.
Good to hear your voice. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Grab that little mic.